The description of an elevator, a machine belt with scoops attached. I think Google's a little bit light-headed today, as I don't quite think that's what it is. My definition is a super fast thing that raises you up as looking cool and impressing people. This Minecraft society that we all care so much about has become addicted to water elevators. Water elevator here, water elevator there. Just stop with the water elevators. That poor salmon. This was made into a book. That was a legitimately cool thing, but we haven't improved much. We've sort of just gone back in time. Instead of making stuff fast and cool looking, we made it simple, been relying on flying machines way too much. So I wanted to take something that was made almost 8 years ago now and bring it to the 21st century. I'm not saying it will be better, I'm just saying it's going to be newer. Oh look, there goes the thought of this being relatively simple. Hello everyone, my name's Tomco, welcome back to another redstone video for the version of Minecraft that's able to play on your mum's phone. So here we got two large statues that are designed to take you somewhere, probably
floor 1
or
floor 2.
Take a look at this one first. There's 4 so-and-so species of elevator. We got realistic, we got simple, we got fast, and we got multi-floor. Now one of the rarest things to see in life at the moment is an elevator that combines all of those 4. So this is an elevator that's realistic, fast and multi-floor. Best qualities in a person. There's a little bookstore over here, so you know when you're walking down the street and you find one of those little libraries where children can take a book and swap it out. Yeah, this ain't that. This is what you're going to be using to tell the elevator what floor to go onto. So let's say you wanted to go all the way up to the top floor. I only have 6 floors in this, so let's say you wanted to go to, it's on floor 4. Let's go all the way up to floor 6. You may as well, it's not going to be very big, and we sort of got to get the full scale of speed of this thing. And as you can see, this whole thing is designed to be as quick as they possibly can. Floor 6 is boring. Let's go somewhere more adventurous. Let's go floor number 4. So we get in, the doors will close, and then we fly all the way downwards. By the way, I have a Discord where you can come chat with me, talk about elevators, talk about life, talk about your cat, talk about your neighbour's dog, top of the description. Now that I'm on floor 4, let's say, oh no, I fell out of the sky. So let's go on floor number 1, elevator's still on floor number 4. We can just call the elevator by taking this down to floor number 1. Of course, it's a lazy way around it, but I had to make it compact somehow. And as you can see, the elevator makes its way downwards. Now as you can see, there is 3 blocks in between each floor, which is very rare to see nowadays. So it took pretty of an effort trying to get it to fit in 3 floors. It's like 2 pieces of redstone signals. You can also extend it up. Of course, this is a full 15 floor elevator. As you can see, there is a minecart in here. Now, this is how you get it so you don't take damage in survival. This is a new glitch. I'm just waiting for it to get fixed. So I'm on floor number 1. Let's go all the way up to floor number 15, shall we? Floor number 15. We hop in the minecart. Now, not only does it stop you from taking any survival damage whatsoever, but it also makes the ride incredibly smooth. Like, look at this. It looks like you're going up as fast as a bullet. Look at the coordinates in the top left. You can see how crazy fast this is actually going up. You see, we've already gone up 4 floors. You can look at the roof as well. The roof is moving with us. The whole side is moving with us. We see the lanterns flying past us. We can also just look out the window and see an abyss of nothing and clouds. And it's also this smooth when you're going down as well. And there we go, floor number 15. I'm bored of floor number 15. Let's go to floor number 5. So a couple things to note: the bigger that you make the elevator, the longer it's going to take for you to start moving. Of course, signals have to go all the way down, you have to go all the way up, and then you can start moving. So it's going to take a little bit longer. And there we go, as you can see, we have started moving, and yeah, it's just as fast going down. As you can see, no damage is being taken, no damage was taken going up, and no damage is going to be taken going down as well. And there we go, floor number 5. And if we just hop, and yes, you can still call it, so let's say we go down floor number 1, we change it to floor number 1, and it will get its way down to floor number 1. It has made its way down to floor number 1. Pretty sick, yeah. As you gotta have floors every 3 blocks, however, it is pretty compact, and it is definitely not that simple. Now if we take a look at the bigger one, as you can see, everything is far more spread apart. However, it still does look pretty dense, doesn't it? Every one of these is just another floor. Anyways, I think we should get stuck in with this tutorial. So, I'm not going to be doing an item list for this, as quite frankly, you're going to need everything the redstone compartment has to offer. It's probably going to be the most stressful thing you will ever do in your life, definitely. And also you could have had nice relaxing music alongside of this. Wouldn't you just like this playing the whole time? So what you're going to need is a 12 by 9 area on the bottom. You're also going to want a 9 by 7 area 2 blocks up. So it's going to be 12 blocks this way, the 9 blocks this way. Then you want to come round to this corner, you want to fill up 2 blocks and then place a block here. You want this to make 7 blocks wide and then 9 blocks tall. So you're going to want these two. This is what it looks like from above, and that gold block is going to be pretty significant, so I suggest you get that in there too, as what you're going to want to do is you want to follow this tutorial on screen right now, or the tutorial that's linked in the description. It should be pretty noticeable what it is. You want to follow that tutorial until you get to 18 minutes and 36 seconds. Now that's very important. You don't go over that, and you definitely don't go under that. So if you do go over it, you're going to have to destroy stuff, which is no good, as you'll recognise this from here. So you want to follow the tutorial, build the elevator, on top of this, and then come back to finish this off. Hopefully I've made that as simple as possible. So what you should have when you finish that tutorial to 1836 is something like this, where if you activate this piston, it'll send the elevator down, and then if you trigger this repeater over here, as you can see, it should send it all the way up. Now bear in mind, this is going to be the size of the elevators from the very bottom floor to the very top floor, and what we're going to be doing is we're going to have the floors in between all of this. So now you want to mark out your top and your bottom floor just with something like this. So like 3 blocks there. You want to send it down, then mark out the bottom floor. So something like this. You can also go ahead and remove all this platform and just leave that repeater there. So like that. So now it should be looking something like this. Now bearing in mind, you have to have every single one of your floors in line with one of these right slime blocks. So you cannot have a floor here if you wanted to. You cannot have a floor here if you wanted to. You have to have a floor here or a floor here, and so on and so forth. So when you're marking out the floors in just a bit, make sure that it's in line with one of the right slime blocks. And now we're just going to be doing what we just said, and you want to be adding all your middle floors in. So I want to add a floor here. I'm going to add a floor here. I'm going to leave a space and add a floor here. I'm going to leave 2 spaces and add a floor here. Now make sure when you're adding these floors that you are 1 block away from these slime blocks so that you don't get stuck in it. I reckon that's a decent amount of floors. They do not have to be 3 blocks in between. They could be unlimited amount of blocks in between as long as the floors line up with these slime blocks over here. So now what you have to do is do every one of these floors if you want to come out 3 blocks to the right. So 1, 2 and 3, and then this is going to be where your lectern is going to go. So this lectern is this lectern over here. So here's the first floor, and here's going to be the second floor. Here's going to be the third. So just do this to every floor. So it should look something like this, and then just go ahead and wipe out all these red blocks. And now we're going to be leaving this area for a while. I'm going to make our way all the way down to the bottom, and we're going to start off here. And this is the section that we're going to be building looks like. Now, definitely looks complicated, and that because it is. Now, I split it up into tiny little sections. Now, each one of these is part of it. So you put all these together, they make that. Now, all this does is this determines what floor you want to go to, what floor you're on, whether you want to go up or down, and it sends all those signals up. So this part, the part we're going to be building first, just focuses on taking the output from the lectern and turning it into a signal for each individual floor. And the way we managed to make it so compact, of course, it has 15 different torches, but it isn't even 15 blocks wide in either dimension. What I've actually done, if I hadn't made it double back in itself, so there's a line here, there's a line here, this line controls up to 8, and then this line does the remaining 7. What happens is this one sends a signal to all these torches, so when it gets past 8, it'll send a signal down, and it'll go through all of these ones. Then it'll come round and go up here. So to start off, you want to come to the bottom, you want to move up 3 blocks, so 1, 2 and 3. Then on the 3rd block, you want to place a block, and place 6 blocks next to it. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. You have 7 blocks in total. Now they don't have to be blue. I'm going to be doing it blue so you can see the different circuit. Then place 1 to delay repeaters on every single one of these blue blocks. Then place a row of observers all behind these blue blocks just like so. You then place blocks on top of all of these observers with all of the observers facing this way. Nope, it's not there. Here. So that when we destroy these blocks, the repeater should activate. So this one, and this one, and this one. You then stack up 2 blocks on top of this right observer. Come a block forward, so it's like a backwards R. You can destroy these. You can place a row of blocks this way. You then place sticky pistons going under this, which is facing down. Now what this does is it basically means that when this observer gets pushed up to here, these observers will make a hopple clock, just a really fast clock. Now sending signal to these. You then place rest and dust on every single one of these observers. You want to crouch and place a block on top of this repeater over here, with a piece of rest and dust on it, like so. You then place a piston on top of this rest and dust, and a lodestone on an unmovable object. So it's either lodestone, obsidian, or bedrock, or crying obsidian. Only those four you can use. You then have to extend these blocks just coming out like so. More rest and dust on top of all of those. It should connect to this redstone. And then you place redstone torches on the side of all of these blocks. So far what we just done, this is this front part over here, as you can see. You then have to place a row of blocks in front of every one of these repeaters. You then place 2 blocks down in front of them, like so. So 2, 2, 2, and just do this all the way until you get to this side. And then you place wanted delay repeaters coming away from all of these. Another row just in front of that. So it looks something like this. You can now go ahead and destroy this. It should make it go up, but that's absolutely fine. You then place pistons in front of every one of these repeaters. You can place a block here, an observer here, and observers in front of every one of these, just like so. So that when this piston extends, this observer will detect it and it will send a signal here. Now what you want to do is you want to come to the right hand side. So like you see, this is the front. You want to come to this road like so, all the way to the back, and place an observer facing away here. But then you want to place the rest just normal blocks, then another set of normal blocks just in front of it. So this is like the one observer odd out. Then place a row of wanted delay repeaters in front of these observers. Then 40 delay repeaters coming away from these wanted delay repeaters. So now what's going to happen is when this observer flashes, it will send a signal down to here. The piston will extend and retract, and it does it so quickly that when this observer fires, it will always keep this 40 delay repeater extending. So let's actually see, when we do this, as you can see, that 40 delay repeater always stays activated. So what you want to do is you want to do this, feed the resting repeater ones into a block, with then a resting torch on top of it, with a block on top of these resting torches. Another block on top of these, then another block on top of these, with more redstone torches on top of these. So it's just like a mini redstone torch tower, something like that. Now come to these line of observers over here. What you want to do is you want to place a top half slab, you then place a line of redstone dust going on top of all of these. You then place pistons down next to these torch redstone dust. You want to place one here, and one here, and one here, one here, and just do this until you get to the very end, including this half slab. You want to get yourself another non-movable object. You're going to be using lodestone once again. You can place one there, and you place a redstone torches to the side of all of these pistons, just like so. And I was not meant to place torches there. And what you want to do is you want to place a row of solid blocks on top of all of these redstone, with another row of redstone on top of these solid blocks. You can place a block just behind this lodestone with another piece of redstone just on it, just like so. Get yourself some repeaters and place repeaters on all of these pistons, just facing into that redstone torch. So it's not really into it, it's just sort of on top of it. You then have to go ahead and get yourself some blocks. Place some blocks here in front of every one of these repeaters, just like so. And you place your redstone torches on top of every one of these blocks. Now these should all be turning off. If they're all turning off, then well done. Then once again, place another row of blocks on top of all of these redstone torches, with another row of redstone torches on top of these blocks. However, this second one from the right over here, that's going to be a little bit different. Place a redstone torch to the side, a block on top of it, and then a redstone torch just like so. So as you can see, stuff is starting to come together now. You have to come to this redstone dust over here, place a block here, comparator on top of that block so it goes into this redstone dust, a block behind the comparator, redstone dust on top of that, and then a target block on top of this comparator. You have to place a block on top of this redstone dust, a block to the side of the redstone dust, a comparator going into the dust, and then a block up, just like so. Now in the future, this is going to be the line that sends the lectern signals all the way down. Place a block behind this half slab with a comparator going into this redstone dust, a block, a half slab, destroy this, redstone dust on top of this, a block behind it, destroy this block, comparator, a comparator facing this way on top of this block, a block in front of that, another block behind this comparator, another block behind this one, put redstone dust on this block, then a block on top with a comparator facing this way. You then come back round to the front, this is the front, and you want to come to the left hand side where you'll get this view, and place a block on top of this redstone dust, and then a block up, whoops, just like so, so a block to the side of this, comparator on top of that, a block behind it, redstone dust on top of this. You then place in 3 blocks just like so, a block in the middle, destroy this with 2 comparators there. Now that is pretty much the blue signal, the blue section even, all done and dusted. Now you want to get yourself a lectern and a book and quill. And what you want to do is you want to open this lectern and you want to write floor 1 on this first page. You then want to go to the next page, so not here next page, the whole new page of a book, and place floor 2 here. So we got floor 1, floor 2, you then want to do another one on floor 3. And what you want to do is you want to do this until you get to floor number 15. So floor 3, floor 4. So even if you're going to have what, like 7 floors, you still have to do it all the way up to floor number 15. And there we go, so that's floor 15. Now what you want to do, just check that you have every single one of these floors, so from 15 to 1, and that you haven't missed anything. Now if you have missed anything, you would know, as you wouldn't have like out of 30 pages. Now finally just go to this very last one over here, and you just want to press any number, so any little signal that you can, even if it's just this, just leave somewhere on this page. Now you want to make sure that you only have 30 pages. Now you cannot have 32, can't have 34, that number up there has to be 30 out of 30, otherwise you're going to mess stuff up and it won't work. So just go ahead and sign this like so. There we go, sign and close. So once you got this, you want to place a temporary thing just to check everything out, that you've done everything correctly. Just place a block, then a block to the right, with a comparator here, place a lectern just behind this with the book on top of the lectern. Then this redstone torch should be turning off. You don't want to go inside this lectern, change it to floor 2, this should turn back on, and now this should be turning on. You don't want to change it to floor 3, and now this one should be turned off, and this one should have also turned off. You now have to change it to floor 4. This one should have turned back on. This one should have turned off. And you have to check that for every single one. So now when we change it to 5, as you see, that one turns back on. This one turns off. Change to 6, 7, off. So now when we change it to 9, what should happen is this one should now go up to here. If you've done that, then that's like the whole difficult part done. 9, and yeah, this one turns off. So as you see, if you come down here, this flashes, this moves this person on and off, then this one keeps this redstone repeater activated, turning off this redstone torch. Now for the final couple ones, so 10, and finally 15, and there we go. If you've done all of that, then well done. You have done a great job so far. You can now go ahead and destroy all of this, or just this little bit, as it's no longer needed. So now that's all the blue circuit done, we're going to be moving on to this magenta circuit. And this is what the purple circuit looks like without anything else. As you can see, it's pretty simple, it's not that complicated. So what you can do, you can place a lectern on top of this target block over here, placing your book in there, and you want to set that to floor number 3. Now this is just an updated book on the one that I made. This is just the one that I used for both of those ones, however you can just use the one that you just made. You then place a top half lab just like so. The comparator coming away from it, make sure that it is set to 3. Place a block in front of that, and just on top of that, get yourself your observer. Place your observer here. Place an observer facing downwards. Place another one facing downwards, and then just like so. You then place a dropper and a dropper facing this way. You want to put any item into this right dropper over here. A comparator coming away from this dropper. You then want to have a block in front of with redstone dust on top of that. A piston just like so. You then want to alternate between redstone blocks and glass. You want to place some glass here, and then a redstone block, then a piece of glass, and then another redstone block, then a piston just facing this way. And then you want to come around here. Now see this glass block, you want to place a piston facing this way just next to it. You then place another piston facing this way just opposite that, with a lowstone or non-movable block in the middle. You want to place a redstone torch on top of this piston, a block up here, a piston facing downwards, then a redstone torch to the side of this. If you watch this, as you can see, that piston pushes everything back. You want to come in here and place a redstone torch on top of this piston, a block on top of that, a redstone torch to the side of it. You then place a piston facing away and place another lowstone just in front of that like so. And you should see this and swap this out with a half slab. Place a redstone torch on top of this sticky piston, well not sticky piston, a regular piston. You then place a block just to the left of this lowstone. Then place another block in front of that, a torch here, a block, a redstone dust here, a block just to the right of it, then a redstone torch here. Now bear in mind, it's going to be the off switch. So right now, this system is turned on. However, when we turn this, it'll be off. If you don't want it to do anything, you can just flick that switch and everything will turn off. You're going to come back around over here and place a block to the left, and then 2 blocks on top of this, just like so. With a sticky piston facing downwards, you can then go ahead and destroy both of these. Then observer facing downwards, just like so. Then just destroy this block. Place a temporary block here with another regular piston facing downwards. You can just place this back and destroy that temporary block like so. So the reason why we relocated this redstone dust was to stop it from activating this sticky piston. You can go ahead and destroy a couple of more blocks just to get into these small spaces, and what you want to do, you want to place an observer coming away from this piston so that when it extends, the observer will detect it. So to place one here just like so, you can then go ahead and remove a couple more of these blocks, and you want to place an observer coming away, two observers just like so. So it connects to this observer, an observer facing this way, going into a regular block. So now let's test it. If we replace this redstone dust, what should happen is this comparator should extend like so. This line will turn off, this redstone torch will turn on, this redstone torch will turn off. Not redstone torch, dust. As soon as this sticky piston were to get activated, what should happen is everything should get turned off. If you've done that, then good job. As you can see, the bottom circuit is now coming together really nicely. So now we're moving on to this circuit over here, the last and final circuit. This one is literally just the elevator. So I can see part of that elevator fits within the bottom circuit. So this is just what that is. So we're just going to be focusing on this. Now what this does is this determines whether or not you want to go up or down. Well, it actually doesn't do that. The thing is, the way I managed to make this thing compact is what it does is it doesn't decide whether you want to go up and down. It just sends a signal from both. So it will determine what floor you want to go to. Let's say you want to go to floor number 7. So it will stop you go from going higher than 7, and it will stop you from going below 7. So let's say we had this circuit going up, it will stop at floor 7. But let's say we had the circuit going down, it will stop at floor 7 also. Basically, as long as we activate both of them going up and that one going down, no matter where the elevator is, we'll always end up at floor number 7. So to start, if you want to come to the right over here, what you want to do is place in 3 observers coming away from this redstone dust over here. So 1 and 3. Now what this will do is detect every time that you do these lections. I wanted to go to floor 3. I went to floor 3. This observer line will detect that, and basically when I've stopped changing around, this will then send a signal for the stuff to go up and it will go down. Pretty smart way of doing things. You're going to place an extra block just to the left over here. 4 tick delay repeaters just like so. This will go up into a block to the left, destroy this block, and then place redstone dust here. And place in 2 more blocks just like this one. It's going to be your half lab. 2 1 tick delay repeaters. Then 1 4 tick delay repeaters just like so. You want to get more observers out and place an observer coming away from this 4 tick and go straight into stone dust. You don't want to come to this 4 tick delay repeaters just connect until way in. You want to place a just like so, a block to the right left of this torch even, I'm sorry. Place 2 more blocks in just like a half lab over here, and then what this is going to be is this is going to be a pulse extender. Now every time you activate one of these lections, of course, let's say you want to get to floor number 15, this observer is going to detect every time you flick the page. It's going to send 15 outputs there, but what you don't happen is the elevator go off as soon as you change it from floor 4 to floor 5, when in fact you want to go all the way up to floor 15. Now what it does is this pulse extender will wait for all the outputs to come, and it will only send a signal once every output has come through and there's no more coming. So now you want to place in a redstone dust here, 2 redstone dust here, and a comparator going from here to there. You want to place a block, a comparator this way with a block in front of that comparator, then get yourself a redstone torch and place it on top of this, and then this and this observer. Now remember what I was talking about before, where every one of these comparators will send a signal every time you. So basically this observer, this piston actually will overextend when every one of those signals has come through, and it's powered by a redstone torch. So hopefully stuff is starting to link together now and sort of making sense, I hope. So you want to come back right over here. You want to place a piston just like so. So it should be connected to this redstone dust, the one that has the block on it, not the half lab. You then place an observer coming away, so it'll be facing away from the purple block and it'll facing towards this direction. You want to place a green block just in front of it with a red block just to the left. You then place a choke trapdoor just like so. And to make that a top slab, a redstone dust on top of that, 2 blocks just like so. Place a comparator. You don't want to make sure that this comparator over here, you want to left click it, and what should that do? It should turn a little bit on in the front. You want to place a redstone repeater here, and this will send a signal to the elevator to go up, as you can see. So now you want to come back over here. What you want to do, you want to come round to the other side of this lectern. You want to place a sticky piston facing downwards with a barrel just underneath it. You don't put any item in this barrel. I'm just going to put this empty oak trapdoor. You don't place a block over here with a comparator coming away, so that when this barrel moves downwards, this comparator will get activated. You don't place a block in front of the comparator, a block down, another block in front of it, a repeater going in this direction with a piece of redstone dust just in front of that, then a block on top of that to separate this from this, as you do not want to get these two connected. That will not be good. Now just go ahead and come to the front, and what you want to do is you just want to place a non-movable block here. So this just protects it in case anything goes wrong, so the elevator doesn't come in and wipe all the redstone out. So that wouldn't be fun, and I'm sure none of you would want that to happen. You now want to come around to this redstone torch, and what you want to do, you want to place a sticky piston facing down, so it should be connected to this green block. Now remember what I said about when you flick this will turn off, so basically it just stops it from this up circuit being activated. You want to come around to this red circuit over here, and place a torch here, just like so, a piston coming away, then a torch just to the side of that, and that also lock this in place, disabling it. You're then placing 2 blocks just like so, with some redstone dust in front of that, a block, and then a redstone torch just like so. Now the red circuit we've just done is this bit like so. You see, these are all going to be extended to the top, and so that's the most complicated bit out of the way. If you made it so far, then I just want to say a massive congratulations, and I suggest you take a break. Just take a little break. It could be a little break, it could be a big break. Just get a glass of water, get a drink, get a snack, or whatever you want to do. Just take a bit of a break, because honestly, that was stressful. This is the most complicated bit, as quite frankly, I think you would benefit from having a little bit of time off from making this. Okay, so I hope you all had a nice break. I know that I did. Now before we start with the floors, we gotta make sure the elevator is what it's meant to be doing. So the first thing that we're going to be doing is we're just going to be adding some adjustments to the elevator itself. It's going to be very, very small. In fact, it's literally just replacing a couple blocks with half slabs. So what you want to do, you want to come to every single one of these ones like this. So the one where the repeater is on top of the half slab. You do not have to do this to the left. It's only the right. So what you want to do, you want to come to this one and swap this block out for a half slab. So you want to miss this one out. You want to do it to this one, so swap it out for a half slab. Miss this one out, swap this one out for a half slab. And you can just go ahead and do this for every one of these ones that have this repeater and the half slab on. Going all the way up. Okay, so that's all of them replaced. Now if you want to, you can just go ahead and make sure that it all still works. However, I'm pretty sure it will do if you're only replacing a couple blocks. So now we're going to be doing this red on orange circuit, as you can see here. Now what this will do, this will make sure that it's only the floor that you're on that the lectern output will come out of. So of course, at the moment, if we didn't have this circuit, what would happen is every one of these lecterns will send out an output. Now this is good, and this is also very, very bad, because let's say the top one is on floor 15, and you want to go to floor 4, no matter what you do to this bottom lectern, it's not going to stop that lectern up there from saying floor 15. So what this does is it's basically just whenever you activate the lectern, it will shut all these other lecterns off and will only leave this lectern's output going into here. I'll give you a demonstration once we have it built, but before that, we sort of got to get this thing built. So you want to come down to these bottom lectern like so. You want to place a iron block just behind this lectern. It doesn't have to be an iron block, but you are going to be able to see this block. So just make sure that you put it something that you want to be seen. Then place a block to the right, a block down, and you want to place a comparator coming away from this lectern, just like so. You then want to place a block up, place some redstone dust there. You then want to place an observer coming away from this redstone dust. Whoops, there we go, just like so, with a block in front of that. You then place a dropper facing downwards just to this left of it, then a dropper facing upwards just like so. You can also put in any item into this top dropper just like so. I'm just going to put a redstone torch in there. Okay, so now you can place a terracotta block or an obsidian or any other block that cannot be pushed by slime block here. You can place a comparator coming away, a block in front of that with a redstone repeater just like so. This repeater is then going to go into a sticky piston with another block just in front of it. Now you can probably see why we had to replace that block with the half slab. So now if it didn't have the half slab there, this piston will be getting activated by this, which is not good. We do not want that. Like at all. You're going to come a block just below this block like so, a block to the right, destroy this, and put redstone dust on top of this with a block up just like so. You can then put comparative coming away just like so. You can also swap this with the red block if it's more accurate. You want to come round to the other side of this redstone dust like so, place a temporary block here, an observer coming away from that redstone, an observer facing downwards just like so. You then place an observer facing this way, then in between this observer and this observer observer, you want to place a trapdoor just like so. Place a solid block just in front of that observer. You want to come round and under here we can see this dropper. You want to place a block just below that dropper, a non-sticky block here, so terracotta or obsidian. Place a repeater on that just like so, and then orange wool, and then a half slab here with a repeater just going into that. You want to place a dropper here, a block on top of this dropper, and then 2 observers coming down into this block. You want to come out 2 blocks. Where on earth did that block go? So come out 2 blocks and place an observer facing into this dropper just like so. We can go ahead and destroy these 2 blocks now. You then place a dropper just in front of this observer, and then an observer facing upwards, and then a dropper here just like so. So now it's probably your time to get your block, and what you need to do is you want to put this block into every one of these lecterns just like so. So if you did it right, by the way, this piston should have retracted when you put this lectern in. So go ahead and put the block in every one of these lecterns. Now I want to do what we just did to every one of these floors. So iron block behind the lectern, a block to the right, a block down, a comparator on this facing away. This time it should be on, as of course the book's in now. A block in front of this comparator, redstone dust, observer coming away from the redstone dust going into a block, then this dropper, a dropper facing upwards. So basically what this will do is this redstone dust will change every time you change a page on that dropper, which will then send signal to this dropper, meaning that what we did over here, you can see the observer sent a signal which made the item move from this dropper to this dropper, pulling this block in front of it so that this comparator would turn on. Yeah, it's kind of complex, however it worked very well, and I'm really proud of how I made it so small. So put an item in this drop hopper, a non-sticky block, a block here, comparator coming away into a redstone repeater, into a sticky piston with a block in front of it, 2 blocks, destroy this block, you get yourself some redstone dust and put redstone dust here, and then a block up, and then comparator coming away. Nope, that's a repeater. God, I've eaten way too many Easter eggs for my own good. Come round over here, place a block, an observer coming away from this, oh, can I do it? Hey, there we go, observer coming away from the redstone dust, observer coming down, observer coming over here with a solid block in front of it. You get your trapdoor, and you want to place your trapdoor here. And I will start to see how everything is so compact, of course, as I only have 3 layers to do everything. So it's going to be compact for these couple of floors that I only have 3 blocks in between. However, these ones, yeah, you have plenty of space. So carrying on, a block below this dropper just like so, a non-movable block, repeater, a block, get yourself a half lab, mine. Place a half lab here, a repeater coming away from that, place yourself a dropper here. Now what this will do is this will make this comparator turn off. Whoops, let's see if I could place it in the right place. Yeah, there we go, you can see it should be turning off. Placed a block just on top of this dropper, and then 2 observers coming down. As you see, all of this line should be connected now. Then come around to over here, place an observer going into this block, observer on top of this dropper, then a dropper, another observer, and then another dropper. So that is 2 of these done. So what you should be seeing now is when we go into this lectern and we turn a page, this comparator should turn on. However, when we go into this one and turn a page, this comparator would turn on, this comparator would turn off. So let's say we do this one again, turn a page, this comparator would turn off, this comparator would turn off. Yeah, so it's doing that good job. So basically that's what it's going to be doing for every single one of these. And speaking of every single one of those, you want to build that for every single one of those. So I'm just going to be showing you how to do this final one, and I'm going to be letting you build them on their own, or if you want to, you just skip back to this part and just follow it every time. But by the end of it, you should know it off by heart. At least I did. So yeah, comparator, redstone, observer, block, dropper, and dropper, put on any item into with this top dropper, non-sticky block, comparator, redstone repeater, a block, another block, a block down with redstone dust on it, a block up, comparator coming away, come round over here, place a block, place an observer facing downwards, an observer facing the other way, trapdoor, place it here, and a block in front of this observer, place a block below the dropper, a non-sticky block, a redstone repeater going into that block, a block behind it, get yourself a slab, redstone repeater, just like so, and then a dropper, and then another solid block on top of that, and then 2 observers facing downwards, observer facing into this block, just like so, observer, dropper, observer, dropper. Now you want to go ahead and repeat exactly what I just did for every single one of these lectures. Now it doesn't matter if the observer chains don't match just yet, we're going to be matching them up after you built it. But just to test it out for now, when we flick this, as you can see, this one should be on. If you flick this one should turn on, off, flick this one should turn off. So yeah, if you've done that so far, then good job. Just go ahead and repeat this for every single lectern. So yeah, it doesn't matter if it just looks like this for now and there's nothing connecting it together. We'll sort that out in a little bit. Okay, so once you're done, you should have something that's looking like this. Of course, the majority of them are not connected yet, but that's what we're going to be doing right now. Okay, so there's two ways to connect these two together. Option one is to literally just have an observer chain going from this one to this one and down, just like so. However, there's another option, and the other option is this, which literally just helps out when you have an even bigger gap and you don't want to waste time, basically. So what you can just do, you can have an observer with a block in front of it, and then a redstone dust, an observer just like so. Then on the other side, an observer facing downwards with a block, a temporary block, an observer facing downwards with redstone dust on it like so. So like, as you see, this is what I've done over here to connect them two together. I've just done this. So it goes observer block redstone, observer block redstone, and it's what it does on the other side but downwards as well. This basically just saves time, so it doesn't take as long going up and down as there's less observers basically. And then you can connect these two together. So once again, I'm just going to be doing observer block redstone, observer block redstone, observer, there we go, redstone. And on the other one, observer block red observer. And I've just done the same thing to connect these two together, and then we just have to connect those two together as well. So observer block redstone, then observer block, a temporary block, whoops, nope, then observer, and then redstone. And then final one, observer block redstone, observer block redstone. I messed that one a little bit, but it really doesn't matter. As long as the redstone signal can go up and down, it does not matter. Okay, so now I suggest you go ahead and test every single one of these out. Starting with the top, if you trigger this, what should happen is this should turn on. However, all of these should turn off, and by the looks of things, I've made a mistake. Here we go. So yeah, what I've done is I've done a mistake. As you can see on this one, I can see these two redstone does connect. If that happens, just place the block up there and it should stop that, as it doesn't break it. So you just go ahead and place a block there on all the ones that do actually connect. However, now it should be working. So if you toggle this one should extend, all these ones should turn off. And if you do this one should extend. However, the one at the top should turn off. So let's do this to every single one, checking that all of these are functional. As one is off, then the whole thing will break basically. And final one now, and then yeah, all of these are working now. It's always good to check as well that the bottom and the top are both functioning. So you go ahead and flaggle the top, so the top one turns on, then eventually the bottom one will turn off. Yeah, there we go. Just go ahead and do that final check, and then if everything's working fine, then well done. You did a good job actually. Okay, so now you want to come back down to this blue circuit, and what we're going to be doing is we're going to be continuing this comparator line going all the way up. So if you take a look over here, you can see this is what the comparator line is going to look like in the end. We just need to go ahead and do this too over here. So what we're going to be doing is we're going to be placing dust on top of this. That this dust will activate this comparator. Then place a block on top of this redstone dust, a block on top of the comparator going into this redstone dust, a block up behind it with a redstone dust there, a block up, a block to the right, comparator going into that, comparator going behind it, whoops, a redstone dust on top of that. So I can see what's going to be happening is just going to be going down and then around and then down, and that's what it's going to be doing. Of course, this comparator will also activate this redstone dust through that block, also sending its signal down. So once again, it's keep on going upwards to the top, the comparator there, a block up, redstone dust, a block on top of it, a block to the right, comparator going into that block with a block behind it, redstone dust, a block on top of this comparator with a block going into that, a block up, redstone dust, and then a block. Now you can sort of see the pattern. You don't want to do this until you get to the top. So I'm just going to be doing it for this one, and then I'll let you guys do it to the top. So a block on top of this, comparator, a block up, redstone dust, and a block, and a comparator, and a block, redstone dust, and a block, and a comparator. It's very repetitive. And yeah, I've made it to this one. So just go ahead and do this until you get to the very top or the very last comparator of your elevator. You don't have to do it all the way to the top. You can just stop when this comparator. Then final couple now. So just go ahead and reach the top. Redstone dust here, and then a final block, and this will send signal going all the way down, which should make a torch turn off. Now it's saying it's on 4. Let's go ahead and check this by, if you go to the very top lectern, this one should be on 4, and yes it is. Now also what you need to do is you want to go ahead and go to every one of these lecterns, you know, come in here. I want to set it to a different one. So now I've set it to 6, and move up to 6. Of course, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Yeah, that's right. And you want to move to the next lectern. Now let's set this to 3, and what should happen is this will be set to 3, 1, 2, 3, and yeah. Now don't worry if it is sending these off. It will do that every time, of course. If it is doing this, in fact, then you're doing good as well. It should be doing this. Yeah, just go ahead and check that every lectern does output the right one. And mine will do, which is good. So now I want to come to wherever your elevator is at. You want to destroy this bottom block just like so. And you want to get yourself out anything that can have items in it. You don't replace it with something that can hold items in. So like a barrel or a furnace or a blast furnace. I like using blast furnaces as I think they look the best. However, you can use anything that can hold items in it. You don't want to get yourself a non-stackable item. I just like using swords. Just pull on a wooden sword and put it inside this. So now we're going to be doing the doors for every single one of these. Okay, so you want to come to the bottom floor. You're going to place a non-movable object here. Now bear in mind this is going to be the side of your elevators. So as you can see over here, I have a bunch of low stones either side. This is what that side block is going to be. So bear that in mind. Don't make it some bad looking block. Make sure it is a block that you want it to be, basically. And then you want to place a block to the left of it with a block down. The comparator coming away from this with a rock block in front of it. Then to place a redstone torch here. You then want to come out 4 blocks to the left, so 1, 2, 3 and 4. You want to place a 2 to the layer repeater here, and 3, 1, 6 just like so. Place the block up with a redstone torch on top of it, another block on top of that with a redstone torch to the right, and then place a repeater coming away from this with a block in front of it, and then a block down just like so. Place a non-sticky block here. Let me get my glazed terracotta out, and I'm placing 2 redstone repeaters just like so. You then place a block in front of that with a redstone torch on the side, 2 blocks down, redstone dust here, and this is going to be where you're going to be placing your sticky pistons and then your door block. You now want to do this to the next level course, so placing your side blocks just like so, a glazed terracotta with a comparator on, a block up, redstone torch, 1, 2, 3 and 4, 2 to the layer repeater, 1, 2 and 3, a block up, redstone torch here, a block on top of that, and a block to the right, a block up and a block down with a glazed terracotta there, 1, 2 and 3, a block up, redstone torch, a block here, redstone dust, 1, 2 and 3 with your door blocks just like so. So you may be wondering how these door blocks work. Of course they are not connected to anything. Well, if you remember the sword that we placed in that blast furnace there, what will happen is if the elevator does not stop on the floor and just goes flying past it, this comparator, yes it will activate, however this redstone repeater will not pick it up, as what will happen, this torch will flash too quickly and this just won't change. We can demonstrate that down here. So let's say we have an observer here with a block in front of it and then a redstone torch to the side. Set this to 2 tick. Let's say we update this observer. As you can see, the torch turns off and on so quickly that the torch doesn't even matter. But it's only when that we send a constant signal through this torch. Let me just get a lever. But it's only when we send a constant signal, or in this case the elevator is actually there and it isn't moving, that the torch and the repeater will turn off. It's pretty smart and I'm glad that I managed to make it work. You don't want to repeat what we just did here to every one of these floors. So lodestone, terracotta, comparator, block, torch, 1, 2, 3 and 4, 2 tick, 1, 1 and 1, a block up, redstone torch, a redstone torch here, a block on top of this, do a little arch and get some more terracotta and place it there, 1, 2 and 3, a block in front of this, redstone torch to the side, a block down here, some redstone dust, 1, 2 and 3, and then your door block just like so. So you go ahead and repeat this to every one of these. Okay, so that's all my doors done. As you can see, the only one that is actually open is the one at the top where the elevator is. All the others are closed, as you can see. So hopefully you should have finished and it should all be working. Now, even though it looks like we have a massive chunk left, we're actually very close to the end now. It's only the easy stuff left, so congratulations if you made it this far. Okay, so now we're actually going to be starting at the top and working our way down, as the bottom floor has a little bit of a different thing than every other floor does. So what we want to do, you want to come round to this side over here. You want to place a block to the right, a block up with some redstone dust here. Now this should be in line with the floor of it, so if you come all the way around, the iron blocks over here are at the same level as this yellow block. You're going to come up another block on top of this yellow block, with a sticky piston facing downwards with a block of redstone on top of that, and then you can go ahead and destroy this. And then you can place a block coming away from this sticky piston, a redstone torch on top of that, and a regular sticky piston just facing away into this. Now what this is this going to be the mechanism that tells the elevator to stop at certain floors. So when this is activated, this block will get retracted so that this cannot go any down further. You want to place a redstone torch on the side of this, 2 blocks down just like so, with a redstone dust here. You want to place a button here. Nope. A button? I just messed so much up. No. You then place a sticky piston facing downwards just like so with a barrel on it. You then place a yellow wall just on the same level as this barrel, the comparator coming away. You then want to go into 2 blocks, 2 more blocks, destroy this block, 2 redstone repeaters. You then place a block up just like so. You want to go ahead and destroy both of these 2 blocks. And then want to place a piston and then a lodestone with a redstone torch here. You then go ahead and replace these 2 just back like so. You want to come around to the other side so you are actually inside of this. You want to place a torch just hanging off this piston with a block down. You want to get some redstone dust and place it here. And what you want to do, you want to place this repeater. You want to replace that with a comparator. You then want to set this comparator to subtract mode just like so. And finally, just want to get a half lab and place a half lab here connected to this block. Now to go down the floor and do the same thing. So this level you want to go all the way around and come here. You want to place a block here. You want to put redstone dust on top of this with a block on top of that. Now this redstone dust here is going to be this redstone dust here. Now make sure that it is in line on the same level as this floor, otherwise you are going to mess it up and it will not work. You're going to place a torch on the side of this and then 2 blocks down, redstone dust here, get yourself a button, and you want to place a button here, place a temporary block here, a sticky piston facing downwards with a redstone block just like so. You can then destroy this block, a block here, redstone torch, and then you get yourself a sticky piston and place a sticky piston going into this block. Place a half lab here with a piece of redstone dust on it just like so. You can sort of see how they do overlap, and don't worry, yes they do overlap when you only have 3 blocks in between. That's why they look so weird. And then carrying on, you'll place a sticky piston down here with your barrel. Place any item into this barrel. Did you check I did? Nope, I did not. Yeah, place an item into this barrel as well. A block, a comparator coming away, 2 blocks, 2 more blocks, 2 redstone repeaters, a block up, get yourself a redstone torch. Actually, first of all, replace these 2 blocks with a piston and a lodestone. So piston, lodestone, then you can place your redstone torch, 1 and 2. Go around to the other side, place your redstone torch to the side of this piston, a block below it, get some redstone dust, and replace this comparator with this redstone repeater, in fact, with a comparator. But first of all, what you want to do is you want to go ahead and remove this comparator, the top one at least, as it isn't needed. Basically, just removing that like so will stop the elevator from going out of the elevator, basically. You can then swap this repeater out with a subtract mode comparator. And then once again, moving to another floor below, so it is this one now. So find the level of the floor, you go all the way around and place a block here, redstone, place a block to stop it connecting, redstone torch, 2 blocks down, redstone dust, get yourself a button, place the button here, come back up, 2 blocks, sticky piston facing downwards to the redstone block, a block to the side of it, and then a block up, a sticky piston, a half slab here with some redstone dust on it, sticky piston facing downwards with a barrel, place any object into this barrel, and then a wall to the side of it, a comparator, block up, whoops, block to the side, 2 repeaters, and then a block up. Get yourself a piston and a lodestone, place these 2 blocks with a piston and a lodestone, replace the repeaters, redstone torch, and block, redstone dust, and then replace this repeater with a subtract mode comparator. Make sure they are facing the same direction, by the way. You want to come out. So you want to do that to every single one of these floors. So I've just built this one here. As you can see, this is the level that I've just done. Now I've got to do this one. Now, of course, this one is only 3 blocks different, so it's going to be a little bit harder, as of course they are just right next to each other. However, as long as you do the exact same thing, it should not affect the other one. So once again, just come out like so, place a block here, place a block up, redstone dust, redstone torch, 2 blocks down, redstone dust here, a block up, sticky piston facing downwards, destroy this block, redstone block, and then a block up, and I forgot my button there, redstone torch, and then a sticky piston going into this block. You get yourself a half slab, place the half up there, then redstone dust there, sticky piston, and then your barrel, a block, get yourself a comparator, a block up, 2 blocks, 1 and 2, block up, redstone torch, destroy these 2 blocks, piston and lodestone, and then a block up, redstone torch, redstone repeater, and then a redstone repeater set to 2 ticks, and then go up, and then a redstone torch, a block down, redstone dust, and then a comparator set to subtract node. Now we move on to the very bottom layer, which is a little bit different, as of course, where you would have to place these barrels and stuff. You would have to place them there, and there's clearly no room to place them in here, so we've got to do something a little bit different. So like normal, just go all the way around here, you place your block here, redstone, and then a block up, and then you get your sticky piston, a block here, sticky piston facing downwards, destroy this block, and you need to get your button out. I keep on forgetting the buttons, and a redstone block. And now you're going to do something different. You want to destroy this redstone, and you want to place it there. You don't want to carry on with what you were doing, so a block just behind it, redstone torch, your sticky piston, place it on top of that, and then your half slab, place it here with your redstone dust on top of it. Then there we go. So that is all the yellow circuit done. Now what we have to do is link up these lines. So this is floor number 1, this is floor number 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, and 15. This is floor number 1, this is floor number 2, this is floor 3, 6, and 7. So what you can probably guess we're going to be doing is we're going to be linking these torches up to these redstone dust on half slabs. So to link this one to this one, it's very simple. All we're going to have to do is do that. It is extremely simple. And then we're going to link up to the second one, so people, and now we're going to link up the second one, so a block up, redstone torch, a block, redstone torch, a block, redstone torch, and then you want to place a redstone torch to the side of this block, then the third, and then what we're going to be doing is going to place a block to the left, redstone repeater, and then connect it like that, and then a block, and then what we're going to be doing is we're going to place another torch to the side of it, and then a redstone repeater, and then a block up, just like so. And then now we're going to be doing the fifth, so block, torch, and keep on going up, and there it is. So what I'm going to be doing is a block up, so something like this, and then with the 2 torch repeaters, and then number 6, and then just something like this to connect it up, and then finally, for me anyways, number 7. Then it doesn't really matter, and then I'm just going to be doing a block, repeater, block, repeater, block, repeater, and then there we go. So as you can see, that is now all of them linked up, and I have not used this back layer. So what I'm going to be doing is I'm just going to be quickly showing you how to link up each one. So this is how to link up number 1, this is how to link up number 2, number 3, number 4, number 5, number 6, number 7, number 8, and you see now on the 9, we're moving to the back layer of torches, so this is how you link up number 9, number 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, and then finally 15. Now make sure you do link up in the way that I showed you, as otherwise you could get different layers mixed up and you really don't want that. And now it's time for the final last thing. And as I didn't use these back layer of redstone torches, you can just go ahead and get rid of them, as of course. Now it is a whole block smaller basically. Look at that, it looks completely different. And the final thing now, what we got to do, we just got to extend this redstone signal all the way up to the top. So torch, block, until you get to the very top. Okay, and then we get to the top, all we got to do is make sure that it does end off with an off one, and put a block on top of that, a 4-tick delay repeater, and just link that up to this sticky piston. And now everything should be done. So let's say you want to go to floor number 2, you'll click it to floor number 2, and what should happen is this elevator should make its way to floor number 2. There we go, as you can see it is off, and something ran wrong. And by the looks of things, I have missed a terracotta block, where I was meant to place a terracotta block, therefore everything broke. Anyway, attempt number 2, let's go ahead and send it back again to number 2, floor number 2. There we go, you see everyone's working fine now. So it should make its way to floor number 2, which it didn't, of course it didn't. So by the looks of things, I made a mistake on this one. This should just be 2 repeaters like so. So you just go ahead and make sure and check everything, as even I can make mistakes. So if I can make mistakes, the chances are you probably made a couple of mistakes. But if you haven't made mistakes, then wow. Okay, so now let's send it all the way up to floor number, let's go 7. Let's send it all the way back to 7. There we go, and it stopped at 7. Let's send it all the way down to 1, and there we go. And I'll send it up to 3, nope, there we go, 3. There we go, and now let's send it to 5. So basically all I'm doing is I'm trying to test every single floor just to make sure that it did work. Yeah, that didn't look like it worked. So by the looks of things, I am going to have had a little bit of delay just to this top circuit like so. So I suggest you do the same, just add a little bit of a delay before it activates it, as sometimes it can miss it and it can send it down when it's meant to go up. Other than that, the final thing to do is add in finishing these sides, make sure that they're on non-stickable blocks. Then you can also add in a back, just like so. Anyway, that is it. The final thing that you can do is just decorate the front, make it look nice. Anyway, that's all from me. If you found this tutorial helpful in any way possible, then please do consider subscribing and leave a like, as it helps out a bunch. Also, consider joining the Discord so you can chat with me, and if you need any help, Discord's the best ways to go. If you contact me on Discord, I'll be sure to help you out. It also helps me, as you can send photos of it and stuff. Basically, it'll just help out a ton. Anyway, that's all from me, and I will see you all later. Have fun with your new crazy elevator.